Well, good morning, folks. How are you? Hope you're doing well. If you would be so kind as to give me a 5 by 5, let me know that the volume is okay, that you can hear me okay. Awesome. Very good. Very good. All right. So it is a good morning. Um, we're going to talk a little bit about the market volatility and the coming conditions that we're going to be most likely presented with in trading. But get a little bit of housekeeping out of the way because I know some of you are just chomping at the bit, email me, sending me uh, text messages and whatnot. The the new addition to my family was born Thursday night, 11:30 p.m. by C-section. She tried very hard to push him naturally, but she wouldn't dilate past 5. So they took him out by C-section. He was 20.5 inches long, 7 pounds, 9 ounces, and just beautiful. Perfect little boy. And we're blessed. So I'm a pop now. You're going to note a very stark contrast to how I've done things in the past. So that the first time I looked in his face, I just felt, yeah, I can't be that guy anymore. So we're just going to be Mr. Rogers going forward. That's just the way it's going to have to be. So anyway, I know some of you all were hanging out with me on Twitter the other day when my daughter-in-law was in labor, and you know how it is, man. It's very uncomfortable waiting for something that we have no control over. The mother doesn't have any control over it. It's you don't know how long it's going to take, and you're sitting around people that are strangers in a place that you don't want to be in. So you got to find ways to occupy yourself. So I occupied myself the other day, entertaining myself with the crypto bunch. They are very eclectic. Uh, I'm trying to be very polite, but also have fun too. They're very eclectic, very eccentric individuals. They're very animated. They're very opinionated. They're very guarded, and I love teasing them because it's an asset class I would never touch. It's the B system, and you can believe that or not believe that. I don't care. I'm not trying to sway anybody's opinion about it, but I think that it's ridiculous that people are surprised with the level of volatility that we have going on right now. And I'm going to touch a little bit on Epstein stuff because I'm getting slammed with comments and questions about that. I'm only going to say what I'm going to say today about it, and I'm never going back to it again. Okay. So just know that there are certain things that I steer clear of because it's disgusting. And you probably should do that too, but you know, to each their own. But leading up into this year and previous years, I told you that if you've been with me for a while, we were going to be entering into a time where the markets would see unprecedented measures of volatility, like crazy volatility. And with that, obviously, comes with a measure of the community, not necessarily our community, but the community at large globally that are traders or speculators, investors. And they go into this business for multiple reasons, you know, notoriety, wealth, obviously, um, just to challenge clout, business. You know, learn how to do it, then sell signals, which there's nothing wrong with that. Learn how to do it well, and then educate people with the models that you employ, and prove it worked. There's nothing wrong with that either. But then you have this other segment of the community where they're not profitable, and they are argumentative, and everybody is a scammer, Everybody's out to get them. Everybody's the reason why they're failing. And I'm seeing that type of perspective, that opinion, that stance inflated right now. And it's the same thing I experienced with the Y2K whole thing. And a lot of you guys are just too young to even know about what that was like. Leading up to the year 2000, it was being perpetuated that, hey, look, there's going to be a problem with the computers, and they don't know how to tell the time by date, and they're not going to be able to see and reference the date properly, and everything's going to crash, which is ridiculous. Coming up as a computer programmer, learning how to program in sixth grade, self-taught, first, and then going to, formal education, going after that. To me, it was nonsensical. But, to the average person, well, think about it like this. Say you've been trading for a while, right? And you're making money. Try to explain that to someone that's a lay audience. That means someone that has never speculated. They don't understand that you're sitting in front of a chart and you're reading this chart. You're trying to predict the price action. And yes, folks, you're predicting price. Okay. You're trying to predict. Okay. You're not reacting. You're predicting. Okay. So either you're bullish or you're bearish. And tap dancing around that is ridiculous. But try to explain that to someone, that you're looking at these lines. Okay. And because of whatever model that you use for prognostication, it leads to you making a decision that if you're correct and the market yields to that decision and you've aligned yourself with what the market was going to do, you can profit from that. And then you can ask the brokerage firm that you've traded through to send you a bank wire. And then you can take that money and spend it on whatever you want to spend it on, at least for now. They can't wrap their mind around that. So now contrast that with the complexities of 26 years ago or longer, where the average person was computer illiterate. And there's a lot of people that are computer illiterate still today. They have these old folks. I don't know, some of you think I'm an old guy. I like playing that role sometimes because it's funny, but I am a techie, and I was techie before tech was tech. So it's fun seeing how older folks today with smartphones in their hands, they have all of this technology in their hand and they don't know how to use it. Like before my mother-in-law passed away, she barely knew how to text. Like it was crazy. She didn't know how to FaceTime. It was wild. It was so funny. But back then in 2000, going into the Y2K bug scare that they're perpetuating, which this is another wealth transfer, just like we're seeing now, just like we saw in 2007, 2008. They got away with a lot of them. They got away with it in 2001 with the whole New York, Philadelphia, and the boogeymen flying around in airplanes. All that stuff was just wealth transfers. And now because they know that we just accept whatever they say on the TVs and on the news wires on the internet, they're just bold with it now. They're just going to do whatever they want to do because they know that you are going to do nothing. You're going to lap it up, complain about it, but you're going to eat it and you're going to swallow it and you're going to come back for more because you're a glutton for punishment. You know that you aren't going to be able to vote your way out of this stuff. And they know that you know that. And they know that you want to be able to complain about it. And they don't care. In fact, they want you to do it now. They want you to do it because they want the tribes divided. And if they're dividing them well, we will not be able to recognize that they're a small minority of people that we don't have to comply to. We don't have to listen to them. We don't have to do those things. We don't have to do it. You should not be surprised with all this volatility because all these things around the world that are going on, that a lot of my students in 2020, 2021, I guess about 10%, maybe 12% of my paid premium behind a paywall membership were talking to me both in the user groups where everybody could see, or in email, or literally coming out on social media and flaming me saying that I've gone off into lunatic fringe territory. How does that feel now looking around? It's clown world, isn't it? You can't have all these things going on and it not eventually come to the markets. All these individuals that were in other foreign countries that would saying to me, all this stuff doesn't mean anything to me. I came here, I paid you to learn how to trade. Well, if you're going to learn how the markets work, which is what I was selling, understanding and reading price action is going to be directly linked to how the markets are going to book. That means, how are they going to gyrate and move around? Are they going to be systematic? Are they going to be measured and delivered in a way that is copacetic, very easy to get in and out of? The liquidity is just ready and available, and it's a clean market? Or it's going to be chaos. You don't know where it's going next. And I mean that in the sense that it could be one price here, in an insane 20 minutes, it could be 1,000 handles somewhere else. Don't believe me? Look at how the market's opening up for the trading hours to electronic trading hours to new week starting, new day starting. When the session closes in regular trading hours and we go to startup of electronic trading, look what's going on. Look what happens at 4 o'clock. You're seeing these moves, these sustained price runs, because they're coming for everybody's sense of normalcy, and they're trying to create panic. They're trying to create uncertainty. They want you fearful. They want you reactionary, which is what all these paid mentors out there in the world tell you. Your job is to react to the marketplace. No, it is not that. That is what unprofitable, ridiculous 20-year-old mentors that literally are wet behind the ears still. They have no idea what's going on. They have small taste of mediocrity, a little bit of money, just a little bit of profit. And suddenly they're mental giants. They're financial geniuses that everybody should sit with pen and pad listening to them bark about whatever they think is salient at the moment. It's nonsensical. And now we have all of these individuals that are unprofitable. They don't know what they're doing. They can't call price. They have no analysis concepts that hold up. They're coming out and they're crying. They're complaining. Oh, woe is me. The margins are too high. How can we make money with this? Prop firms, all of you, we're probably going to like what I'm going to say here today. And no one's paid me to say these things because I have no partnerships, I have no affiliates, and I have no interest in any of that stuff. I don't need your money. I don't need any of those, padded deals where, hey, look, here's my ICT code. Use the ICT code, for the best discounts. You don't have to get that from me. So my opinion is organic. It's not paid for. Okay. It's not fluffed up by someone giving me some money for bilking you out of reset fees. But all of you that run those companies are going to like what I'm going to say, because I'm probably one of the biggest fish in this community of traders that is approachable. That means I interact with people. Anybody can talk to me. Anybody can leave a comment. You can say that you think I'm a scammer. You can say that you love me. You can say whatever you want to say. I'm here for it. That's why I'm on Twitter or X. Okay. I'm not hiding from anybody. I come out here as a way of having, a way to handshake with all of you. And it's fun. It's engaging. It's not monetized. I have no monetization on it. And I spend the majority of my time out here. And on the weekends, where everybody else is trying to find how they can make more money from all of you, I'm spending my personal free time with you like this. And I'm sitting in my pickup truck talking to you because it's nice and cool out here. In fact, it feels like -6, but my wife has the house so hot I can't stand it. So I took a shower, got all nice and cool, come out here, my pores are wide open, and I feel like a nice bath. It's wonderful. But you have all these individuals out there that are crying and complaining about how this prop firm won't let me trade gold and silver, and they're doing this and they're doing that, and I can't make money with this because they're scamming me. Okay, listen. Listen, if you believe that the only money that's available, the only profits that are available, that are in reach, are right now, stop trading, because you are pretending you know something that you know nothing about. You're a fool. And a fool and his money is soon parted. The inevitable is going to come. You're going to lose no matter what you do. Okay? You're looking for any reason to complain about and justify why you are failing. It's not my concepts. It's not the other persons you're learning from. It's not the books and courses you subscribe to. It's not the people you're copying the signals from. It's you. It's you. It's your perspective. You're going to do it wrong no matter what you're doing. And you're complaining and telling the world that what I'm saying is true. Anybody that's out there crybabying, saying that the prop firms saying that I've got restrictions, I can't trade the way I want to trade, you are a moron. You're a fool, and you're complaining because somebody's actually doing you a favor. They're stepping in. They're being a buffer. Sure, I'm certain that there's a large degree of personal risk management on the part of the prop firms. Absolutely. Absolutely. If someone gets lucky, folks, that's the range we're at right now. Okay. The tachometer is revving so high up right now that if you are permitted to over leverage, sure, you could be standing there with your big red shoes and big red nose and get lucky like a bozo in a casino any other weekend of any given year. Somebody could fly out to Las Vegas, plunk down some money, do some crazy heavy-handed bets, and win. But the chances of you doing that right now, listen, that's not realistic. I have students that have literally made millions of dollars in front of all of you. Okay. They're from my stable, and I'm very proud of them. And unfortunately, some of them have gotten stupid since they've made millions of dollars. They don't see what's going on around them. They don't want to deny it because they have rose petaled colored lenses on their sunglasses now. They're walking around. They don't feel the pain threshold of what things cost right now because they got a taste of a little bit of money. You better be paying attention because it's going to throttle up even higher from where we're at right now. And what you've grown accustomed to, your Midas touch, going out there, I can touch this market and I can make money. I can do this and I can do that. And I ain't got to do this. I don't have to trade with everything ICT says. I don't have to do this. I can do that. I can do 5-minute trainers. You're all going to be challenged. And I'm at the top of the list. The Mac Daddy. I'm going to be challenged by this. You don't hear me saying, hey, I'm going to go out there and over leverage everything. I've never said to do that ever. And I certainly wouldn't try to promote the idea that you should be doing it now. So instead of complaining about the prop firms that you're doing business with, you made money from them. Some of you have made lots of money. And you're complaining like a child. Someone's taken your toy from you. You have lost the plot. You're in this to make money. You're not in this to gamble. This is not online poker. Okay? This is not betting on the horse races. You're in a market right now that is actively looking to consume you. Everyone. Every single one. Even the little guppies. They don't care about my stop. Yes, they do. They absolutely do. Why? Because even the little guppy right now, the little small fries, can make millions. You don't think so? You don't think so? What do you think an investment of, I don't know, $35,000 was worth just a couple weeks ago? in silver that was positioned last year. Millions parlayed up, 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 millions in a market that is without the supply, the real supply of the silver. I listen to these YouTubers that are homesteaders, and I use them like my ear to the railroad tracks. Okay, a lot of you know that the initial attempt for Bitcoin to get to 20,000 years ago, you know, I came out and I said, listen, I'm just let you know, it's not going to go to 20,000. And here's the reason why I know. And I knew without a doubt it wasn't going to go to 20,000 the first time. I got real close to it, but failed. And I came out on Twitter, or then, but yeah, it was Twitter then. And I said, you're not going to believe this. I'm sitting here in the living room of my house. My wife leans over and she says, listen, you ever hear of Bitcoin? And I said, what did you just say? And this is my wife. She has no idea what trading is. She's watched me do this stuff the entire time she's been married to me. In, I don't know, 4 years we dated before we got married. And she says to me, do you know what Bitcoin is? You ever heard of that? I was like, you did not just say that word. Because if you're talking about Bitcoin, we're near the top. And she says, because if you don't do anything with that, maybe you should look into it, because everybody's making money, and people at her functions and like her little girl things, you know, their book clubs or whatnot, we're talking about it, saying that their husbands and their family members are getting ready to buy it. So I came out on Twitter. I said, I'm just letting you know it's not going to 20,000 because my wife literally asked me if I am trading Bitcoin. So there you go. That was a perfect top signal. And it dropped, went lower. And I said it was going to go down to 6,000. It went there. I thought it was going to go to 3,000. I think it went to $3,200. So I was off by 200. And I said in the future that I would tell you when it would go to 20,000, and it did when I said it was going to go to 20,000. And I called 50,000. I called 70,000. And then I was off. I said that I didn't think it was going to get to 100,000. I didn't think it was going to do it. And he ran it through. And I said it was not going to go any higher than 127,000. And it never did. And I recently just went out and told you that we're going to see it go and explore below 100,000. And a few of you had, you know, your fun taking your shots. I mean, I'm all for it. I'm here for the bants. The banter is what I love on X. I love it because I'm not getting my feelings hurt. I'm not invested in any of this. I'm not crypto crazy, but I know that I'm going to get a rise out of that community. Even if you don't follow me, you're going to hear about what I said because someone's going to say, hey, go look at this post here. And you're going to come over there and we're going to have fun. I'm not monetized. I'm not making money off of you, but I love the engagement, the aspect of, you know, the shop talk. I love that. I love it. And I'm not trying to hurt anybody's feelings, but I know, and, you know, without a doubt, some of you are going to take it personal and you think because I have a large following that I'm having some measure of influence that's causing these markets to go down. I'm not causing the markets to go up and down, folks. That's what I'm highlighting. The lunacy of some of you. You think I have sway over what the markets are going to do because I say it. That has nothing to do with it. That's the equivalent to buying and selling pressure. It doesn't exist. It's a myth. So we have seen, obviously, Bitcoin drop down. And while my daughter-in-law was in labor, you know, to entertain myself, I was, you know, making all these little facetious little posts online, crap posting basically, but having fun with it. But it was performing, you know, as I warned it would. And then we got down to 60,000. And I said, look, you know, everybody now wants to be short on it. So if you have taken shorts, take some profits and get ready for, you know, the normal ebb and flow that's going to come. And I think we saw what, like 10,000 from 60 or 12, maybe 12,000 rally up on Bitcoin. I don't believe that's the low. But here's some of the technical teachings that I want you to learn from our discussion today. I'm not going to be talking a lot. And I mean that today because now I have a grandson and I have to make sure that I balance my time, and weekends are what they are. So I'll probably be with you. Probably. Let me take a look at the time actually while I'm talking. 8:30. I'm gonna close this up. But yeah, we got 30 minutes still. The way the markets work is obviously it takes advantage of individuals that don't know, and or heavy-handed, over-leveraged, and high-frequency betting. Okay, it's inherent to all of us that we want to make a lot of money and we want to make it fast. And I want to ask you a question: why do you want it like that? Now you're going to probably say out loud, because there's no better way of doing it. And while I would concede and say, well, I guess that's true in one sense, but I asked you why you think that way. Why do you believe that? Because you don't know what you're doing. That's the truth. You want to bet heavy and hit these big windfall victories like the lottery because if you were being honest with yourself right now, and this is the part that's going to hurt, folks. This is going to make you uncomfortable, but this is the stuff that you need. Okay, this is the counselor in me talking to you, the coach, reminding you this is what you're feeling, this is why you're feeling it, and this is how you overcome it. This is how you improve. This is how you become closer to mastery of self. You're not going to master the markets. That's never, ever, ever going to happen. The only thing that you can do at the highest level and degree is you mastering yourself. Why do you want? Why do you live every moment, every single trading day? Why is every single execution based and hinged upon you being wildly profitable with the highest measure of leverage, and you want the maximum degree of price movement in your favor with the smallest potential stop loss? Why is that? Why is that happening? In your mind, why is your psyche linked to that right now? And why has it been like that since you started? Because you know yourself. You know yourself well enough that you want to get in here as fast as you can, get the bag and run, because you know if you stay in it long enough, because you don't know what you're doing, you're going to lose everything and more. And how will that feel if Carl asks you on Monday, so how you doing in that Bitcoin? You bought more when it was at 112,000. I just looked at it this morning on the ride in here, and it's under 70. My heart goes out to you. Prayers and condolences, while he grins at you. That's what you're fearful of. You know you want to get out of that rat race. You know you do. Everybody wants to get out of the rat race when they start. But the truth is, you don't know what you're doing. Anybody that knows what they're doing knows that that's the wrong way of doing it. Once you become focused in on a model that you've done plenty of back testing on, then you've forward tested by tape reading without even a demo entry. And then you demo traded it for months. See, we're talking about at least the minimum of a college semester before you even touch a demo account. Man, this guy's so full of it, bro. I ain't got time for this. Go back to McDonald's, Jack. Show up on time and get your McWage, okay? Because that's the mindset that you hold. That's it. You're not gonna excel in trading if you think that this ain't sound logic. Everybody that's become a millionaire out of my fold has changed their way of thinking and aligned it with this. That's how they got there, folks. That's how they got there. They realized what they thought, what they believed in the beginning, they discovered it was wrong. And they adopted what I'm teaching to you right here. Your perspective is directly linked to your many times unconscious, but for the ones that are mature and personally responsible, you're conscious. You're cognizant to the idea that you're too inexperienced to know exactly what you're doing. And you are reacting. Sure, you may know a fair value gap or a block breaker, but you ain't trading right when it forms. You're waiting for it to move a little bit more. I just need some more confirmation. I just need some more confirmation. If it could only just move 50 more handles, then I can trust it. You know who you are. And that's uncomfortable for some of you right now listening to that. ICT, why are you rubbing me like this today? Man, this is wrong. You chose violence again? No. I'm trying to be your coach. I'm trying to let you know this is the reality of things right now. And until you change and have this paradigm shift, you're going to struggle and you are going to fail if you don't do it now, because the volatility we're under, and it's coming and it's going to increase. Are you telling me? Yes, it's going to get nuts. It's going to get real stupid. And some markets, hey, you might just have to take a step back and say, yeah, I'm not touching that. But it's moving around. Yeah, sure it is. Sure it is. Stand close enough to a nuclear reactor with a leak, and the Geiger counter is going to move all over the place too. Doesn't mean you want to be close to it. Doesn't want to be hugging all over it. Some markets may go thermonuclear, and the fallout isn't good for you. As much as you might think, but if I was only, sure, pretend's fun. It's fun, but it's not a sound financial model. Many of you that are complaining and saying to yourselves and going online crybabying, looking for someone else to like your post. Yeah, if we start collectively complaining about Top Step and Apex and this and that and the other prop firms, there's so many of them, I don't know any other names besides those two. They're trying to hurt us. They're trying to keep us from making money. And if we all complain, we'll force them to go back to the way things were. They're doing you a favor, whether you like it or not. That's the truth. That's the truth. And I don't care if you don't agree with me. 34 years of doing this tells me I know I'm right. And if I'm not out here trying to over leverage, over trade, try and trade every session, trying to go up and down, buying and selling all day long, I'm not touching it right now like that, folks. What does that communicate to you? You've seen me how I've rolled in the past. This is the market. This is where the level's going to go. It's going to go here. Boom, boom. Execution all over the place. Bang, bang, bang. Up, down, all day long. Ping ponging. I'm respecting Phil's position right now because he's in control. Oh, that's all that. That's what this is, folks. They're in control. And they are in damage mode right now. They are destroying everyone they can. So many things are exposed right now. And the sentiment is so high and things are so expensive. It's a perfect storm. It's a perfect storm. You want to have more money because you can't make your bills meet. Some of you are probably on the verge of being made redundant at your job, or maybe have been made redundant. You don't have a job anymore. Or you got laid off with maybe a thought that you may not be called back to work. Or you do have a child coming and now you're thinking, oh my goodness, how am I gonna afford this? That's real. And that's also going to push you into making decisions that are not financially sound. Silver, I told you that there is not enough physical supply of silver to meet all of the contracts that were purchased over the last 6 to 7 months. It's not there. So I gave you all a homework assignment to go study, because a lot of you millennials you just don't know. Like, you don't know. You think the markets are something that just happened all of a sudden because you're here. And it owes you something. It owes you nothing. Okay? It owes you nothing. Like everything else, you have to earn it. You have to work for it. And nobody owes you a favor. So, 1980, there was an aggressive campaign to buy up silver in great quantities because of similar mindset at the time. And just do a search on the Hunt brothers, okay? It won't take you long. It's a couple paragraphs and you'll get a flavor for what I'm talking about, okay? When I got started in 1992, I heard years before that, my uncle, who is kind of like the very first, I guess, exposure to trading. You know, it's 13, 14 years old, Sunday mornings, you know, waiting for them to show up at my grandmom's. And we'd have weekend dinners every Sunday, which was great. But he would always tell me, you know, the richest people in the world, Michael, trade futures and options. Get yourself a good job, you know, be an electronic technician like Uncle Stan, like that's who he was. And he was working for Westinghouse, and he was making really good money back then, like really, really good money for what at the time was considered great money. And he traded he traded sugar market, and he got involved because of the big runs that took place in silver. And he got involved with Ken Roberts the same way that I did, and many, like hundreds of thousands of people. We got our start in trading because of that cowboy guy who used to sell insurance and whatnot and real estate, wears his cowboy hat and smoke his cigars and talk about how rich he is and how much money he's making trading 1, 2, 3 tops and bottoms. And I bought onto all that stuff. Like that, you know, that got me excited when I saw other people give their testimony about what they did. And one guy talked about how he made $500,000 trading soybeans. And I'm thinking to myself, man, $500,000. Like, that's like half of what I want to make by the time I'm 40. And they did that in one trade. I'm learning how to do this. And I rushed out there, put all my money into one trade, trading an orange juice option, and lost half my money overnight. Reality check. Hurt. It scared me. But I was in a rush. I had to make a lot of money real fast. So what did I have to do? I had to have a paradigm shift, change it. See, part of Ken Roberts' course back then, and you can actually go on, I forget what I know some of you are very resourceful and you probably are familiar with this, but there's a website that you can go to and you can literally look at the world's most powerful money manual, which is a very inflated title for a book that doesn't really deliver on its title. But you can look at the PDF file of it. It's made available for free. And you can read it. Okay. It's very simplistic. It's almost like a grade school audience should be, you know, the reader of it. It's very infantile in its discussion. It's very simple. It's not complicated at all. In fact, it's too simple. It led everybody to believe it's that easy to get in there and make lots of money. And I found out first time out it ain't like that. So, but silver has always been like this. It's eventually going to go up. Yes, yeah, eventually it would, but there has to be some kind of, you know, reason to do it. And when we had a shift in the batteries in cell phones, you know, the lithium batteries were having problems, you know, catching fire and blowing up and whatnot. And they discovered there's efficiency also by using silver inside of there. So now we have a real commercial use for more silver, and there's other things out there besides just the cell phone battery, but that's the largest one. And think about how many people have a cell phone and how they have planned obsolescence programmed into them. So that means if you keep a phone 2 years, immediately during the updates, they're purposely causing them to not work efficiently. So that way you go do what? Spend $1,200, $1,500 for a brand new phone. Even if you do it over payments, you're still spending that money. So it's built in, like we do in America, we build cars to expire, so you buy more of them. Whereas, like the Japanese, you buy a car there, you're getting 10 years out as long as you take care of it, if not more. So there's a real commercial use for silver now. And I told you this was coming. I told you gold and silver is going to go up. I told my private students in 2020 that it's going to go up a lot. But I told that same thing in 2019, in July and in October of 2019 on Twitter. I said, buy metals, buy them. It's going to go nuts. It's going to go crazy because all of the geopolitical things. I told you that Russia and China were going to be on the stage. Look what's going on. It's all over the place. You heard about all the headlines that everybody on this planet's talking about for the last 7, 8 months, last year or two, really. You knew about that stuff in 2019. You knew about COVID, not by name, but you knew about it months before it happened from some goober that's talking to you right now. And I'm telling you, I'm the same guy. I am telling you, you think that you've seen volatility and now we're going to slow down? No. No, 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 no. We're just starting, folks. And if you are not respecting this measure of volatility and you think that you're owed something and trading should be easy because you have time to sit in front of your little smartphone and push a couple buttons with your premium paid demo account, you're entitled to something. You're entitled to nothing. But I'm going to satisfy your entitlement with uncommon sense. See, common sense tells someone with common sense that things are a little distorted right now. There's a little bit more risk involved. And that's not an invitation to say, hey, look at that. Look at that building on fire. I haven't had a suntan in a while. Let's run in there and hang out for a little while. That's the equivalent of what many of you are complaining about. You can't run into the burning fire and risk everything in hopes of being a hero coming out with just a few eyebrows singed, but having lots of money having done it. You're trying to play the main character in a story that you may not survive. Like you may not come back from it. Oh, that's an exaggeration. Is it really? Is it? Do another little homework study on when the Swiss franc was depegged from the euro dollar. Folks, billions of dollars were lost instantly when that happened. We're in that same climate right now, but worse. There are so many people on the chopping block in high seats with magnifying glasses right over top of them right now. And they have long lists of body bags behind their names. These people, they have a vested interest in staying exactly where they are. And they're going to pull out every stop in the book to distract all of us from what we all know. I am not looking at Epstein files. I'm not looking at these things. I don't care. Don't send them to me. Because as soon as I see something in my email that's circulated to me because of you think you want to know my opinion about something, I'm immediately blocking you. Because number one, I don't want to see the trash. I don't want to see it. It's disgusting. You know, as adults, we're responsible and we're afforded the privilege to guard our children and other people's children. And any victimization of children is evil. It's vile. It's of Satan. Whether you choose to believe him, he exists or not, it's sickening. I don't want to have the memory of reading things or seeing things that I wish I never looked at. I wish there's many things I've been unfortunately exposed to that I wish I never saw and wish I could forget, but you can't. Once you see it, it's there. It's burnt in your brain. You can't get rid of it. And I choose not to spend my time looking at that. But the word says, cast no evil thing before thine eyes. I don't want to look at any of those types of things. I don't need to see it to know it existed. But now everybody's aware. And you don't think some airplanes ain't going to crash? You don't think some markets ain't going to crash? You don't think that your money ain't going to be affected? You don't think they're going to create something that's going to be so crazy, so extreme that, hey, look, they just did the biggest wealth transfer in a beta test in 2020, made everybody wear face diapers, and nobody's talking about that anymore. COVID was a scam. All of that stuff was a scam. I told my students, I said, if they don't lock the whole world down for 30 days, I think that it's not real. But if they do, I'm behind that. They said 15 days, stop the spread. Okay, go a whole month, just for good measure. I would. If I was in a position like, I would have been like, that's it. No, nobody's going anywhere for 30 days. But if they don't open up the economy, and if they don't change things back the way it was after one 30-day period, folks, we're underneath something that's terrible. And now they saw it. They did the test. They saw what our reaction was going to be. And many of you took stuff into your body that you should have never taken. And I have lost friends and family members by that stuff because their brains swelled up and they died. Their hearts swelled up and gave up and they died. And these people were healthy, fit people, expired just like that. When they lied and they said, and they still are lying, get your boosters. They promised you another one's coming. They promised you it was coming. Now, silver doesn't have the real supply. There's not enough silver to meet all of those contracts. If they all want to be delivered to, you have no idea what that's going to communicate. There will be runs on the banks, and everything will be completely out of their control. And they're in control. So when silver's at 120, felt good, didn't it? Being right, thinking it's going to go to 200. Or if you listen to that guy on Dabu 7, I listened to this clown for, I don't know, man, 10 years. He sit out there and talk about everybody. Oh, well, this person's a shill. How you know there's a shill? Because he's got a PayPal link up in there, man. You'll never see a PayPal link on my channel. He's out there begging for coffees. Buy me a coffee. Buy me this. Buy me that. He's running underground world news, but he's reading the news that everybody has access to. Zero hedges is the number one go-to. And people eat it up. He's out there saying, silver 10,000. What? No, absolutely not. A couple other homesteaders I like listening to. Only because when they talk about the markets and they've been running, as soon as they start talking about it, it's the same thing. It's the canary in the coal mine. Like my wife was before Bitcoin hit 20,000 the first time. Don't get me wrong, folks. I love my wife, but my wife is not a trader. She's not astute when it comes to things that are financially linked to markets. She couldn't trade her way out of anything. She wouldn't know anything about it. But if she now suddenly has an opinion about a particular market and it's directional, saying, you ever hear of Bitcoin? And I'm like, what did you say? Yeah, maybe you should take a look at that because all of so-and-so, I'm not going to list my wife's friends and all that, but her little circle of, friends and whatnot, all of their husbands were going to start buying Bitcoin then. So it goes to say that if I'm watching these homesteaders, who they, by their own word and testimony, they don't trade. They don't trade. This guy, Dabu7. Now, listen, I'm sure he's probably going to catch a little clip of this, okay, and get all bent out of shape and stuff, you know. But listen, I'm only attacking your ignorance. I'm not attacking you as a person. You get your money how you got to get your money, I understand. But Justin Knight is who he is. He talks a good game. He talks like, we told you, we've been calling it silver this and silver that and do this. Dude, if you've been calling it and you're making ad revenue, why aren't you making millions of dollars? That's a shill. But these same people that are homesteaders, they're old guys and women. And some of them I like listening to because they're just down to earth folks. You know, I like listening to things that have nothing to do with the markets, but soon as they mention the markets, I think I might have to go 15 more minutes. Let me see. Let me check the time. Yeah, 8:45. We're going to close it. Some of you are laughing. Oh, here we go. 4 hours. I promise you. In Jesus' name, ain't going to be in 4 hours a day. But these homesteaders that come out of their own mouth with, they would never trade. They would lose all they have. And they admit that they don't know what they're doing. And you know what? I have respect for people to do that. I have respect for people that come to me to learn how to trade and read the price action and learn how to speculate with a demo account, because that's what we push around here. I don't ever tell you to put real money into anything. That's a decision you're going to have to make on your own if you ever get to that point. It'll be obvious when you want to do it. But if there's a question in your mind about whether or not you should do it, then you're not ready. That's the easiest litmus test for that. If you got to ask me if it's the right time for you to start doing with real money, it's not the right time. You're going to know, and nobody's going to talk you out of it. So when these same homesteaders start talking about, yeah, silver is going to go up, it's probably going to go to 200 by the end of the month. Well, you know what that means. Silver's going to go to 500. These people don't trade. They've said so much from their own mouth. But all of a sudden, they know something, because they know that their lay audience sees them as some person of influence, because they get accustomed to coming to, much like some of you do with me. You come here, you listen to me, jawbone about whatever. Some of you probably don't even trade the stuff I teach. You do your own thing, but you just like listening to me because, I mean, I'm talking about a topic like some of these things here, like the tinfoil hat stuff. You all want to hear that stuff. I get it. It's cool. I understand. But when someone says something and then later on it happens, they can come back and say, see, I told you. But did you make any money off of it? Because really, if you haven't done anything with the money, really, what's the benefit of having said, I told you? It's clout. And even in these homesteading channels, they get this same currency paid to them. They get a feedback from their audience members saying, wow, you called that. Great. How many bags of groceries did you buy with the profits from that? How many utility bills did you put in the bank ready to pay in the future because you got it covered now? Well, that's a different subject. We're just talking about, right, okay. So don't beat your chest and say you were right about anything. I'm not up here beating my chest saying I was right about COVID, I was right about this, that, and other thing. I'm not doing that. I'm trying to talk to you like you're a friend. I am not trying to take advantage of you. I'm not engaging you for money. All of you out there are going to take this and put it on your YouTube channel, and you're going to make money off of it. And I don't care. I'm not doing that. Because when I talk to you like this in this medium, I want you to know that there's only sincerity behind what I'm doing. I have nothing to gain from this. Zero. I have zero to gain from this. But some of you need to have a reality check, because you're complaining about not being permitted to do what you think while you're ignorant. You don't know what you're doing. You just started trading. You just found your way on the other side of a combine or an evaluation account that you found. Now I'm in a position where if I do it right now, I could take money out of it. You can't even explain how you got there. But now you're complaining that you can't trade 15 contracts when there was already an inflated beginning. It was already too many contracts afforded to you. So you should be thanking the universe, or as I like to call it, God, that somebody's looking out for you, man. Because you can wreck yourself getting caught up in this whole frenzy of, I got to make a lot of money because silver went up so much. And I said, listen, there ain't enough silver to meet that demand. If every contract that was purchased for March delivery, one YouTuber says, yeah, they're manipulating silver because it's settlement in January. There is no settlement in January. They don't deliver silver in January. These same people are talking to people, and then someone's going to listen to them. Someone's going to listen to these individuals that know nothing, and they're going to harm themselves. And here's these same people that are waiting around so they can say something and be right in hindsight and congratulate themselves and monetize that. But it's on the backs and the risks of everybody else listening to them spew their ignorance. Why is he shouting? Because I give a crap. I care. I know enough that if I was 20 years old in 1992, 93, listen, I would have listened to all these jokers. I would have believed all the hype. I would have got wrapped up in all the frenzy about it all. And I would have hurt myself. I would have done that to myself, listening to fools, trying to emulate and copycat people that weren't really doing anything. But because they have an audience that's large, they must know something I don't know. These people, here's the secret, folks. Okay, here's the real secret. They don't know what you think they do. Because if they did, they wouldn't be living on YouTube every single day, multiple uploads, trying to get their meal ticket grocery money. I have a limitless supply of things to talk about. So many price action models, so many concepts, so many ways of doing anything. In fact, I could abuse my measure of influence and just get on there and talk about hindsight stuff, and you all would lap it up. And I could be collecting ad revenue off of that. How many videos do you see me making on YouTube under monetization? Hello. I'm not here for that. I'm not here for it. But these same individuals are out there stoking the fires, saying, should you be buying silver at 120? Am I buying silver at 120? Yes. And then the next day, well, they're manipulating the market because this, that, and the other thing. Wait a minute, Jack. Wait a minute. Let's just play devil's advocate for a moment. And I listened to your nonsense. And I went in there, I bought silver. And all of a sudden, it's done dropped $250,000 for one contract? You didn't see that coming, genius? That's where we're at. Who is standing against these headwinds right now and still sounding like they have any common sense? Everybody out here has a voice on YouTube. Everybody has a voice on social media. Who are the ones that are telling you, man, listen, be careful right now? Who's beating their chest? Who's saying this, that, and the other thing? And how many things are coming true after they said it? Because that's the inventory that y'all need to start taking. We have a perfect litmus test right now. Perfect. Because if you don't know what you're talking about, woo, it is happening right now. You're getting exposed. You're getting exposed. The real scammers are getting exposed right now. What can they do? What can they say is going to happen? What are they calling before it happens? Hello? And there ain't nothing you can say against that. There's no defense against that. There's no argument. There's no, well, nope. Absolutely not. Because I'm going to tell you something. Let's say any of us took the advice of anyone else out there, and it was contrary to what happened in silver. Buy it up, buy it up, buy it up. Bitcoin's going up, man. I'm buying it 110, 112, 114. It's getting ready to go back up. It's going to make all-time highs. Really? It just had a haircut. Over 40% decline. Straight down, elevator to hell. Boom, pew, just like that. Ride the lightning. What encouragement would you accept from them if you felt them do that? What common sense could you see coming out of their mouths or on their text when they type it out on social media? What solace, what comfort would it bring you hearing anything from them at that point? Nothing. Nothing. Because they're not going to pay you for your loss. They're not going to say, hey, here, the kindness of my heart. I said something, I probably encouraged you all to do something. Now you got hurt. But they, on their channels, they backpedal and they say, well, they're manipulating, blah, 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 this, that, and that thing. Dude, you need to be responsible. You need to be responsible and stop talking about things you don't know what you're talking about and abusing your influence, putting people in a position where they make ill-informed decisions in frenzy. Just like in 2000, when they thought the internet and the whole world was going to collapse because somehow computers don't know how to change a number from 1999 to 2000. Think about that. That's stupid. Like, but hey, it goes on still today. It goes on today. So if they don't have the real silver supply in hand to meet all of the contracts that were purchased for March delivery, pray tell, how could they get themselves out of a pickle? Silver's trading at 120. You got about 7-8 weeks or so before settlement and delivery, final day in March 2026 for silver contracts. Study 1980 and what COMEX did. That's the exchange that silver trades on. The Hunt brothers got together and they bought up a whole bunch of silver contracts because at the time they thought the world was ending and there was going to be currency collapses. Everything that you're seeing right now. Everything that you're seeing right now. So they labeled it, they were trying to corner the silver market. No, they were buying up what would be considered real currency. Gold and silver, they're precious metals. They're real money. Bitcoin ain't real money. Our paper dollars aren't real. They're not real money. The illusion is that man that used to exist, who no longer is here, that dead president, and the numbers associated to that note in the upper corners and lower corners, both sides, the illusion is because it says that, that's what it's worth. No, that's an illusion. There is no difference between that $1 bill and a $100 bill, except for another strip of plastic in the $100 bill. And the imposed illusion that it's somehow now $99 more in value. It's an illusion. That's all it is. But there is no illusion that gold has real value. A small little pebble will cause a person to dig in the creeks and rivers in the Appalachian Mountains, hoping they get a small little nugget like that before gold even climbed to the levels they're at right now. Why? Because it has value. It'll always have value. It'll always have value. But your paper dollars and your digital I almost went there. Garbage, these crypto things, they're all illusions. It's all linked to pedophilia. They use that stuff to buy children on the black market, folks. I mean, that's the reality of it all. And you're all frenzied over it. You want to own it. You want to buy it. Not me, Jack. I will never have anything to do with that stuff. And that's why I'm telling you, it's going to go to zero. It's going to go there. So I'm going to combine the conclusion of this message with silver and crypto. Okay. Silver has no real supply. Okay. And we have time before March contract closes. Two scenarios are underway right now. Number one, at 120, silver was at a really ridiculously high price. And I told you it would be uncivilized for any of you that are seasoned investors, traders, not to take profits. Okay. I already said the last time I did a Twitter space, I have regrets because I felt an unction. Well, I believe it was the Lord, but I didn't act on it. So I feel a little regret in that. Well, actually, I feel a lot of regret in that. And as a reminder, I don't regret ever not touching Bitcoin. You guys that are in crypto, you think I'm like butthurt over, like, dude, I have been in moves that just dwarf Bitcoin. Like you just watched one thing. I've been in these markets for 34 years. I've seen every year's mega trade. Think about that. Okay. 1994, 1995, I watched coffee do the unimaginable at that time. I watched the Japanese yen go vertical and then collapse. Okay. Like you just watched one thing and you think you know everything. You're just a child in this. You're a child. You have a mind of an infant. Okay. You just discovered something that everybody else has been doing this for a long time. We're not surprised that Bitcoin did that. We're not surprised. Every year there's market moves. Look what happened last year in cocoa. Look what it did. Cocoa, its margin was next to nothing. How much money did you make in cocoa? How much money did you make in your Bitcoin at the same time? Crickets. But you got words. You got bants. So there's no supply for silver. We got final delivery notice end of March 2026. So when March contract expires, the way the futures markets work is anyone that is a commercial user or anyone that wants to take delivery of the commodity, okay? Like for instance, say Samsung. Samsung creates cell phones and their batteries, they're lithium, and they're transitioning to a more efficient, more safe approach to using that battery by implementing a layer of silver. So it buffers and it removes that threat, or at least they have a belief that it's going to mitigate it. It's that way. I'm not saying it. I'm saying that's the research is what it's saying. So right away, every future cell phone is going to have a measure of silver that it didn't have before. Now do that over millions and millions and millions of cell phones that are being purchased, every month, and then recycled and get a new one when people's cell phones become made obsolete. So you have a built-in demand, a real supply and demand factor for silver. Now, if there is no supply to meet every contract, I'm not saying everybody that went long in March silver futures contract is going to try to take delivery of it. But without a doubt, there is absolutely large conglomerates that want to take silver's delivery when March contract expires. When that contract expires, if it's trading at 120, 150, 200, or whatever they thought that was going to be, with no supply, what has been done in the past, you're not going to have a history where you can see it being done. Okay. But this is what's going to happen. This is what they do. Going through the exchange, they don't have the delivery to facilitate the actual delivery of the commodity to the purchasing agent, whoever that is, whether it be you or a commercial user like Samsung. What happens is they go to the cash market and they'll say, okay, we don't have the supply. Will you take, let's just say, for instance, play devil's advocate for a moment. Say silver's at $120 at the end of March. Final delivery day, you have to make the delivery. This is when it's done, and you work that out with the counterparty. If silver's at 120, there is no supply to give. There's no transaction of here's the supply of silver you purchased their contract specifications on. Here's what you get to receive because you owned and held the risk on it. So now we're gonna deliver it to you physically. If they don't have that physically to give you, what they have to do is then go to the cash market and say, okay, we don't have that. So we have to pay you in cash, the value, but they will barter with you and try to bring you down. So let's say, would you take 110? Would you take 100 in price on silver just to cash out and be done with it? Because you can't get the actual silver. So what they end up doing is they drop it down precipitously by everybody that wants to take the actual delivery. And you get this controlled demolition in price. So that way they have efficiently controlled the price of any commodity, but it's been done like this. They've artificially controlled silver for decades, and it's technically silver should be way up above $1,000. It should be way up there, but it's not, because they're keeping it controlled while they're doing what they need to do with it, and it's the poor man's gold, and gold's just going up, 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 up. So that's the tomfoolery that's going on. So the one of two scenarios that's going on is this. The banks that were short on silver that got crushed, and there was a lot of quiet discussion in circles that now has finally made its way to mainstream media now, that JP Morgan, Chase was supposedly short. I don't know if they were. I don't know. I just heard the same rumors the very first morning after silver had a nice big pop up, that they were underwater and they had a margin call that didn't answer. So here's a large bank. Everybody knows who they are globally. They had a margin call against short positions held in silver. And they didn't meet that silver margin call, meaning they didn't add money. So if they didn't add money, that means they don't have it to give. And it was rumored that the Fed came in and bailed them out. So are they still holding that position? Or are they still underwater? And what other banks are underwater? I don't know. None of us will know. It'll be just like 2007, 2008 with Lehman Brothers and AIG, all that stuff. That's what we're seeing again right now. Okay, we're seeing another form of that. And because everybody and everything is so corrupt, they could have, and here's the scenario, they could have bailed them out, took that money, and then went short. Because everything that they saw as underwater in terms of a rally on the upside on silver, they got it all in one day. Think about that. They had all of that decline of $200,000 per contract. How many contracts got new net short on that day and held for the full range? They could have positioned themselves out of drawdown and underwater with that. But we still had the common denominator that there's still not enough silver to meet the demands if everybody bought it. So how do you take that into the equation? If they're not outside of their underwater short position, and if it gets back down to below $50 for silver, they don't have that exposure anymore, and they can mitigate that loss, and then there it is, they survived it. But we could see it start all over again between March contract and May contract for silver, and it starts to rally up again, but maybe it doesn't go to 120. Maybe it goes to like 100, and the same process again, it trades back down again lower before May's contract expires. So when my students and other people contact me, I've had not brokerage firms, I've had financial firms reach out to me and ask me my opinion. And that's why I'm saying, like, you listen to me? Like, that's that's crazy. But hey, I'm honored. I'm not a name dropper. I'm not going to say, hey, so and so this that. But just know that I was taken back by that. But if they're asking for my opinion, to me that it means something, I guess, right? So I felt inspired. If they're asking, I'm just going to give my opinion, as a blanket response, like I do all the time. Like I come out here and I'll talk about subject matters that come to me by way of comments, emails, text messages. People write letters to me, and they're sincerely interested in what I think. And I'm telling you that there is too much manipulation, too much tomfoolery in the metals markets now. Now contrast that with 2019, 2020, when I was telling everybody, buy gold and silver, buy the metals. They're going to go up. They're going to go up. They're going to go up. I'm not saying that right now. I'm not saying they're going to go up. I'm not saying they're going to go down. I'm saying I'm not participating. So I'm removing myself from any of the risk that's associated with metals because I am aware that as powerful, as precise as my concepts are, and as experienced as I am with them and the author of them, even with those quote unquote advantages, I cannot compete against them when they turn the dial and the switch and they want to send price wherever they want to go. And now they know that there's blood in the water. Like I'm reading people complaining that they're doing a micro on silver and they're blowing their account and it's only one micro. Yes, Virginia, there's risk right now. Why would you want to be trading more than one micro if you have no idea what you're doing and you have too little bit of money? You can get smoked right now so easily trading silver. One micro contract could end your whole show. Think about that. And it's going to get worse. It's going to be in every asset class, in every market. It's going to go everywhere. Right now, it's just metals. It's going to be in energies. Let it kick off in Iran. And you're going to see crude oil do something it's never done before. Let a tactical nuke fall in the parameters of Israel, like Ezekiel 38 and 39 literally describes, and the only way it could describe it in the vocabulary they used back then, as a homework assignment for you there too. What do you think that's going to do in the Middle East? What do you think the response of the United States is going to be if that takes place? You have never seen the weapons of war that's going to be utilized there, and they're going to be dropping all over the place. And oil is going to be sounding off like it's never done before. In COVID, we saw crude oil go negative $40. They were paying people. The drillers, these companies that were actually drilling the oil out of the earth, they were paying people to come get the oil because they could not. It's not like your faucet in the sink in your kitchen. You go to the bathroom, go to the kitchen, say, I want to get a glass of water, I want to brush my teeth, turn the little vial, and then water comes out. Okay, my cup is full, let me turn that off. It doesn't work like that for the driller. It's a long process to start these things up and to turn them off. So they were paying people. They were paying to come get this oil because they don't have a way of storing it. They have nowhere to go with it because nobody was buying it. So if nobody's buying it, do a fire sale. Pay people to take it from me. And that's why you saw crude oil do the unthinkable, the unimaginable. I had an $11 target on crude oil. It hit it. And it went $50 past it, or $49 past it. Like, it was like the Twilight Zone that day. Like, what? There's got to be something wrong with my charting program. Why is it saying it's negative $40 a contract for crude oil? Like, what's going on here? Now, that was real, Virginia. That was real. And you haven't seen anything yet. But you want to trade more contracts. You're not getting serviced well. Let's get out there and complain. I can't commit financial suicide. This is unfair. Lunacy. That's what that is. Children crying about their toys being taken from them because it's now time to take a nap and respect risk. There's a guy out there. I don't know his first name. I only know about him because I see people post to me whatever I say about Bitcoin. And, without any doubt, there's going to be a dozen people mention some guy named Sailor. I don't know who he is. I never even Googled him. I swear to you, I don't know anything about him except for his name keeps popping up. And apparently he's supposedly short, or he's not short, he's long Bitcoin. And anytime I mention anything short about it, it's like they pair me up against this guy who's trading billions and billions of dollars of this stuff. And one of these individuals sent me a post, or replied to me with a post saying, it's like a video clip, I guess, where he's saying, if Bitcoin goes down to this, that's great. I'm just going to buy all of it. Well, he's probably not telling you a lie. Maybe let me ask you something. Maybe he's not doing what you think he's doing. We're in the age of deceit right now. Everything's corrupt. Everything's corrupt. And I've been telling my son, Cody, he has crypto. He's in, I know I'm going to butcher the names. ADA. I think that's ADA. Cardano, something. I don't know what it is. He bought it like at near the highest parts of where it was. And he doesn't have a lot of it, but he has it where it's up in a premium price because he was chasing it. He has some Bitcoin, which he's still in profit in that, but he has all these other little things he bought that are no longer doing anything. And I try to tell him, I said, listen, son, I know. I know you want to try to do something where you can say, I did it and you didn't help me with it, Dad. And I went against what you said because I want to do something on my own. And young men think like that. And part of me, as his dad, I respect that. Like, I have a lot of respect for going at it on your own steam. Man, that's commendable. It's admirable. But in this case, it's stupid. Because I know enough to know, even though I've never touched crypto, and I never would, I would never do it. I know enough to know how these markets are designed. Let's say it that way, okay? And because electronic trading, and because they're coded and they run algorithmically, whether you choose to believe it or not, if the markets exist 10 years from now, you're all going to be hearing everybody say the same thing. It's just, it's an algorithm. It's the way it is. You're still going to have to know when to buy or sell. How liberating is that? It doesn't remove the respect of you knowing what you have to know to do it well, or you lose. But so many people, they just want to say, no, it's not that way. But he wouldn't listen. And I told him, I said, listen, take you know, take your profits. You're at 120,000. Take your profits. Like, be done with it. I'm not saying go short, but let it pay you. Just do that and wait for a new opportunity. It'll be obvious because you'll be no longer linked to it emotionally and psychologically and monetarily. See, you've married the vein. When the gold rush was going on in the early ages of America, gold miners rather, they would go out and they would panhandle in the rivers and streams of the mountains looking for gold. And because they may have found a little bit of gold in one particular area, they would stake their claim and say, this is my area, nobody can touch it. And they would shoot you if you got near them. That idea of only looking there and believing it was always going to be there if you just stay at it long enough, that's called marrying the vein. The vein being the gold mine vein, that you're going to keep getting more blood out of that vein, and the blood would be gold. Well, Cody made a little bit of money on the up run, and as my own son, he said, Dad, you told me that Bitcoin wasn't going to go above 100,000. What do you say now? I said, it's not going to go higher than 127. So yeah, I'll say this. I'll just say it. Okay. You guys can take it and eat it up how you want to eat it up. I have a lot of influence. And I think that because I was the biggest voice that was kind of like always consistent about not wanting to be a part of it, it wasn't going to do it. And when I said it wasn't going to do it, and I was going to delete my channel if it did, well, there's a real good reason to shut me up, because I've been telling everybody how to beat these guys. And look at them. They ran it above 100,000, sure. But if it's rigged and it's a Ponzi, they're not going to keep pumping it up there, because that just prolongs their payout. This stuff's been around for like 11 years or so, 13 years. Because I knew the guys in 2015 that were doing a little live stream. They invited me to it. And they said, listen, instead of trading Forex, why don't you trade Bitcoin? Just buy one Bitcoin. Just buy one of them. And I was like, ain't no way. Ain't no way I'm doing that. Because back then also, you had all these bucket shops. You couldn't trust the people you were dealing with. And they would take your money. There was scams all over the place. So when they went from just using it on a black market for doing things that you wouldn't want to be a part of, to now, well, let's just put it out there in the public and fleece them. Look how effective it's been. How many billionaires do you know? How many billionaires do you know in Bitcoin? And contrast that with how many people you watch get wrecked in Bitcoin. And you don't see a problem with that? Because when I told you, when they were putting together a futures contract for Bitcoin, it's owned. And they will control everything about it. And it'll do the same thing and go the same path as a pork belly did. Pork belly? What is this guy talking about, pork belly? Pork belly is where if you eat bacon, bacon's like a main staple. It's its own food group in America. It's not all that great for you, but people eat it. So the idea is a pork belly is the part of the pig or hog that they cut out, they process in heavily salt, and they freeze it for a long time. And then they take that out of cold storage and they produce what we know in the grocery stores as bacon. It used to have a contract that was traded on, just like eggs used to have a contract. And it was so thinly traded, the open interest was just not worth keeping it. So it just went out of trading. It's like, it doesn't exist on the futures market anymore. Eggs was only traded around Easter time. Like if you wanted the perfect seasonal tendency, right before Easter or what we call as a Christian Passover, or in Judaism. I'm not a Jew, but the idea is that eggs would go straight up parabolically, and you had an easy every single year winner trade. It was 100% strike rate. It never not happened. It always happened. So they like, okay, it's pointless to have this. Let's just do away with the egg contract too. Okay. Well, Bitcoin was placed on the futures market, and it was 100% rigged at that point. Absolutely perfectly rigged. And even then, I wouldn't touch it, because there's a fundamental reason of why it was created in the beginning, why I won't touch it. And I said, I don't care if it went to 1 million, I would never touch it. And when you know what it's really there for, you're going to regret having any part of it. I don't care if you made any money on it or not. You're gonna feel filthy having done it. And people are now starting to learn about it. They're starting to learn about it. Okay. So I believe what you're going to eventually see, you're going to wake up one day and Bitcoin's chart on the daily is going to look just like Luna. What? It's going to look just like that. It's going just like that, man. But there's more people in Bitcoin than there was trading in Luna. There's a whole lot more open interest. There's a whole lot more suckers. And you guys are all willing to die on this hill against an old man like me that has no faith in it at all. And you think I'm just, spreading fear, uncertainty, and doubt. I'm an Elmer Fudd. Bro's talking our language. Let me explain something to you. There's no need for Luna to have a controlled demolition. There wasn't that much in it compared to, and by contrast, the same open interest that's in Bitcoin. So it can just drop down to zero expediently. And that's exactly what you saw. It's just like, done. No escaping it. You can't get out of it. It's not tradable. You're just getting zeroed out. Because there's so much open interest in Bitcoin, it has to operate like this. Has a meteoric rise, drops down. It's the end of Bitcoin. It's not going to go to 100K. I'll delete my channel if it does. Wow. Let's run it above 100K. And just for good measure, let's pump it up a little bit more. Okay. But it's still a Ponzi. So why didn't it go to 1 million? Why didn't it go to 150,000? Why didn't it go to 200,000? Why didn't it go to 250,000? Why didn't it go to 500,000? Bro, you don't understand. It's part of the standard. It's part of the cycle. You are a sucker. You literally believe the crap. You believe the crap they've been spoon feeding you. You believe that. You married the vein. See, you don't understand. I am not linked to this in any way, shape, or form. I am completely objective. I don't care where it's going to go. I don't lose money. And I don't care to make money off of that one instrument, because I have other instruments in my repertoire. I got other paintbrushes I can use. You got one. And all your hopes and dreams are on what that one paintbrush can do for you, because you're so ignorant. You're brand new at this. You think everybody that's made millions of dollars trading other markets because crypto did what it did, everybody else is stupid. And all you cryptomaniacs think you have it all pegged. You know everything. That's the sign that you have bought hook, line, and sinker. And you will buy it until it goes to zero. And then you're going to all be crying the blues when it zeroes out. But it can't do it like Luna. So what does it do? Has that big run up? Doesn't go to 127. Why did you say that number? Because if it's running on the same thing that other markets do, hint, hint, nudge, nudge, it can't go 30% of a new football field length, 100 yard. 100,000 to 200,000. That's a full 100 yard. If it can reach 30% of that, it's likely to continue. Because I know it's a Ponzi, because I know we are in the times that we're in, there's no reason for it to keep going up. They want to bilk everybody. They want to rook everybody. They want to take all the wealth and take it from everyone else and put it in their pockets because they're going to crash everything. They told you this. They told you this, folks. And they gave you a deadline. They have to have it done by 2030. People that have been paying attention, we've known about this for 15 years. And some of you laughed. Oh, you nutsos, you conspiracy theorists. What conspiracies are left unproven now? What is it? What's left? UFOs, the government came out and they showed videos of it. Hellfire missile hitting it, blows it into pieces, and the pieces that break off follow it. It doesn't land. It doesn't crash. What is that? I don't know. It ain't ET driving in its version of a Tesla, that's for sure. The government wouldn't lie and fake a pandemic. They wouldn't steal an election. Where's the proof that the election was stolen? How about in Georgia, they're coming forward and saying, yeah, well, there's tens of thousands of votes that, we mishandled it and it should have been done like this, blah, blah. They put it out there, but nobody's getting widespread coverage of it. But they released it. Why? Because you're so distracted with the Epstein files. This stuff is disgusting. Nothing to see here. Move on. There's going to be no arrests. Nobody's being prosecuted. What? What in the world is that? Here's what's going on, folks. Okay. You're at the stage where they do everything to cause you to be enraged, where you can't trust anything and anyone. You're going to doubt everything that's being spoken. You're going to doubt everything that you see with your own eyes. This is 100% control being implemented, but they have to tear it down psychologically first. That's what this is. This is not nutso conspiracy. This is not lunacy. It's not lunatic fringe. This is someone that's ahead of the curve talking to you. I'm telling you, this is exactly what this is. And when you understand the grand scheme that they're using, their playbook, you can see it coming miles ahead. You can see it. And they told you by 2030, you're going to have no private property. You're not going to legally allow, you're not going to be allowed to have it. You're not going to be allowed to have a combustion engine vehicle. You won't be able to buy one, that's for sure. That's what their aim is. And if you have them, you're going to be taxed every year with it. Just like there's some of these, they're trying to do a bicycle tax. What fossil fuel is being used there? Oxygen that they're going to start taxing, I'm sure. They're going to find a way to tax it. Breathing tax. They print as much money as they want and give it all these countries. Come up with all these reasons. We got to study the effects of transgender on amphibians in this country over here. $15 million. What? Nonsense. It's nonsense. They're literally laughing at all of us. Look at what we're doing. Look at what we're doing. You can't stop us. You can't do anything to us, and we're going to continue doing it. And how's that make you feel? Who are you going to vote for? Seriously, let's be honest. Who are you going to vote for in November, and why? What is the person that you're going to vote for? How are they any different? What are they going to do to make better your life, your children's lives, the economy? What are they going to do? Nothing. There's nobody standing on this stage in any party, in any country that's going to fix this stuff. They're not. They're all positioned. It's checkmate, folks. Whether you like it or not, that's where we're at. All the pieces for decades have been moving around, shifting here and there perfectly. They tried castling. It's now no longer effective. It's still checkmate. And nobody wants to admit it. Nobody wants to see it for what it is. You can't vote your way out of this. Period. It's coming. There's nothing you can do to change that. Period. The only thing that you have control over for this little bit of time left is to make your house ready. Get yourself the things that you need, that you can afford, and don't risk what you have. You're not out here trying to get rich overnight. If you haven't paid attention, they're changing things so that is not easy to do anymore. Can it happen? Sure. What's the likelihood of all of you doing it? Not likely. Well, this is depressing me. Why even go to your channel and watch your videos? Why should I even worry about back testing? Why should I do this? Because I might be wrong. What? What did he just say? I might be wrong. I could be wrong. I haven't been for about 10 years. But I might be wrong. I might be wrong. It might go a little bit further than 2030. It might. But I'm acting in a manner where it might not be 2030. It may be sooner. So what I have, I don't want to risk it. I am not putting myself in a position where I could potentially have a large portion of my net worth affected by it. I don't need to do anything anymore. Nothing says, Michael, you better get out there and trade the markets or you can't make your money. I don't need, clearly, I'm not in here living off of YouTube revenue because the way this works, folks, here's how this works, okay? You make a video, you put it on your YouTube channel, and you beg people to watch it, and you promote it, and you push it, and you link it here, and you link it there, and you tell people, link me to everybody you know, share it, subscribe to my video or my channel. I never do that. I got 2 million people on my channel, and 99% of the comments that are left are from people that are not subscribed to my channel. So I don't do things the way you think I would be doing them if I was living off of that channel's income. What do you think the income would be if I was pumping out constant videos all the time or multiple channels? Or how about this, ready? If I wanted to make money, I could easily just do a mentorship. Ain't happening. I could put all of your mentorships out of business immediately. Immediately. I'm not trying to hurt anyone. And some of you think that I am a villain, and I'm not. What color's my hat? What color's my hat? I've been talking to you the same way from the beginning. I told you what was coming. I had people come at me. There's been campaigns put against me, making up stuff, lies, tearing me down, going after my personal life and my family. And they themselves get exposed as unprofitable in a court of law. And I got their existence in my hand. I could crush them right now. And I won't, because it's not in my character to do that. It's not in my character to do that. I didn't come out here to do those types of things. I come out here to teach and share something, because I knew that what I was gifted with was so much better than everything else out there, and nothing can come close to it. But my flesh said, don't give it all. Don't give it all. And honestly, I wrestle with that every single day. Every single day. And the more I've seen over the last decade of how people have taken my stuff and lied, said it's something else, and it's not, because nobody can come out with proof of it. They can't even collect the bounty that's out there. They can't even do it. You would think, listen, if it's copycatted, then here's the book, here's the original source, the name that it was copied from, and here's how he teaches, how he does his stuff. It's exactly here. It is in print. It's in video. It's this person's stuff. It doesn't exist. but because they know that you have the attention span of a gnat. And if you say a lie long enough and loud enough, people will believe it because they're generally lazy on social media. Well, if this person said it, it must be true. What? That's why I tell all of you, don't believe anything I say. Don't believe anything I say, whether it be things outside the marketplace or the things about how price is delivered. The things I've taught about price, I tell everybody the same thing. Don't take anybody else's opinion. Don't believe because I said so. Don't believe because I can go in there and do executions and get perfect entries and exits. Just they're absolutely beautiful. Their mastery, their artwork. I'm not saying that about myself. I'm saying that's what the responses are in the comments when I'm posting them. Don't believe just that. Go in there and see if the things I teach isn't what you see in